Summer's officially here, and the bikini sale at shackshop.us is happening right now. Get hot styles, bold prints, and perfect fits, all on sale for a limited time. Whether you're beach-bound or poolside, we've got the bikini that makes you feel confident, cute, and totally summer-ready. So don't wait. Head to shackshop.us and shop the sale before it ends. That's shackshop.us, your new favorite bikini spot.
Bad Bunny's Super Bowl LX60 halftime show didn't just divide America, it blew the cultural fault lines wide open. What was billed by the NFL and its media allies as a historic celebration instead detonated into one of the most polarizing halftime performances in Super Bowl history, triggering an immediate backlash from President Donald Trump, conservative leaders, and millions of viewers who felt blindsided, alienated, and flat-out insulted. Within minutes of the final beat, Trump unloaded on Truth Social with a blistering takedown that echoed across the conservative internet and beyond. The Super Bowl halftime show is absolutely terrible, one of the worst ever, Trump wrote, torching the NFL for what he described as an incoherent, vulgar spectacle that failed to represent American values, creativity, or excellence. What followed was not just criticism of a performance, but a referendum on what America's biggest cultural stage has become. Trump's verdict: an affront to the greatness of America. Trump's post didn't mince words. He blasted the show as confusing, joyless, and fundamentally disconnected from the audience it was supposed to serve, tens of millions of Americans watching from living rooms, bars, and family gatherings across the country. Nobody understands a word this guy is saying, Trump wrote, hammering the fact that nearly the entire performance was delivered in Spanish during the most-watched television event of the year in the United States. To Trump and his supporters, that wasn't a harmless artistic choice. It was a deliberate provocation. The president went further, condemning the choreography as disgusting, particularly for children, and accusing the NFL of abandoning basic standards of decency in pursuit of what he framed as cultural posturing. Trump also predicted that the fake news media would rush to praise the show regardless of public reaction, not because it resonated with everyday Americans, but because it aligned with elite cultural tastes increasingly divorced from the real world. The post went viral within minutes, racking up shares, screenshots, and commentary across Truth Social, X, Facebook, and conservative news sites. A halftime show America didn't ask for. For decades, the Super Bowl halftime show was designed to be one thing above all else: broadly appealing. From classic rock icons to pop megastars, the goal was accessibility, performances that grandparents, parents, and kids could all watch together with confusion or discomfort. Bad Bunny's set shattered that expectation. The performance was almost entirely in Spanish, featured aggressive choreography, and leaned heavily into stylized visuals that many viewers said felt intentionally opaque. For critics, the issue wasn't simply the language, it was the message, or what they perceived as one. This wasn't about entertainment, one conservative commentator wrote. It was about signaling, about who the NFL thinks matters now and who doesn't. The frustration was palpable across social media, where viewers complained they felt like strangers in their own country during its most iconic sporting event. Language, culture, and the Super Bowl flashpoint. The language debate exploded almost instantly. While defenders of the show insisted that Spanish is widely spoken in the United States, critics countered that the Super Bowl is not a niche cultural festival. It is the country's largest shared media moment. To them, choosing a performance that millions could not understand symbolized a deeper cultural shift, one in which assimilation is no longer expected, and mainstream audiences are told to adjust or stay silent. This is the Super Bowl, not a globalist TED Talk, one viral post read. Others argued that the performance reflected an entertainment industry increasingly hostile to traditional American norms, an industry that celebrates diversity in theory but shows open contempt for its core audience. The backlash quickly moved beyond music and into politics. Immigration politics loom over the fallout. Almost immediately, online commentators began tying the halftime show to the broader national debate over immigration and border enforcement. Some critics accused the NFL of exploiting America's cultural divisions at a time when illegal immigration, deportations, and border security remain among the most contentious issues in the country. While Bad Bunny himself made no explicit political statements during the performance, critics argued that symbolism doesn't require speeches. When you put a Spanish-only performance on the Super Bowl stage, one conservative influencer wrote, you are making a statement whether you admit it or not. Supporters dismissed that interpretation as paranoia. Critics dismissed the dismissal as gaslighting. The Ocasio-64 jersey that lit the match. Fueling the controversy further was Bad Bunny's decision to wear a football-style jersey reading Ocasio-64, a reference to his last name, but one that immediately ignited speculation. Within seconds, social media lit up with theories about what the number represented. Some users pointed to Puerto Rico's Hurricane Maria death toll controversy, while others suggested political symbolism. No explanation was offered during the broadcast.
Critics accused the NFL of allowing ambiguous imagery on a stage where ambiguity is guaranteed to be politicized. Supporters dismissed the accusations of conservatives reading too much into a costume. What was undeniable, the jersey became a lightning rod. Love is more powerful than hate, or is it? The final moments of the halftime show poured gasoline on the fire. As the performance ended, a message flashed across the Levy Stadium video board. The only thing more powerful than hate is love. To supporters, it was a harmless call for unity. To critics, it was a thinly veiled ideological jab, a moralizing slogan that framed dissent as hate and positioned the performance's critics as morally suspect. Every time they say love, they mean obedience, one conservative commentator said. The NFL offered no immediate explanation for the message, leaving viewers to draw their own conclusions. Media praise versus viewer rage. As Trump predicted, much of the mainstream media rushed to praise the show. Headlines described it as historic, inclusive, and groundbreaking. Cultural critics applauded its rejection of traditional expectations. But outside the media bubble, the reaction looked very different. Call-in radio shows lit up with angry viewers. Social media feeds flooded with complaints. Many fans said they muted the TV or left the room entirely. Some didn't just tune out, they tuned elsewhere. The Kid Rock counter-programming rebellion. For the first time in Super Bowl history, a significant number of viewers opted out of the official halftime show entirely. Instead, they turned to Turning Point USA's All-American Ultimate Halftime Broadcast, headlined by Kid Rock, an artist long associated with unapologetic patriotism and conservative cultural values. The event was promoted by Pro Football Hall of Famers Eric Dickerson and Brett Favre, as well as former ESPN host Sage Steele. For supporters, it wasn't just an alternative, it was a statement. "We're done being lectured," one viewer posted. "We just want to enjoy football and music without ideology." Trump chooses sides, publicly. Days before the game, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt made it clear where Trump stood. "I think the president would much prefer a Kid Rock performance over Bad Bunny," she told reporters. The remark drew predictable outrage from media critics and thunderous applause from Trump supporters. To them, it symbolized a broader divide. One side chasing cultural approval from elites, the other defending what it sees as American tradition.
As backlash mounted, the NFL remained conspicuously quiet. No statement, no clarification, no attempt to explain the creative choices or the messaging. For critics, the silence spoke volumes. The NFL knows exactly what it did, one commentator argued, and it's betting that controversy keeps the brand relevant. Others accused the league of cowardice, unwilling to defend its choices openly, but happy to benefit from the attention. A league at war with its own audience? The Bad Bunny halftime controversy didn't happen in a vacuum. It followed years of tension between the NFL and its fan base over political messaging, national anthem protests, rule changes, and cultural signaling. To many conservative fans, the halftime show felt like the final straw. "This league survives because of Middle America," one former player said, "and it keeps acting like it can afford to alienate them. Whether that gamble pays off remains to be seen." What this really was about. Strip away the music, the dancing, and the costumes, and the controversy comes down to a simple question. Who is the Super Bowl for? Is it for the broad American public that made it the most watched event in television history? Or is it for cultural tastemakers eager to reshape that audience, even if it means telling millions of viewers they're out of step? Trump answered that question clearly, and judging by the backlash, millions of Americans agree. A culture war played out in primetime. Bad Bunny may move on to his next tour, the NFL may move on to its next season, but the Super Bowl XL halftime show will be remembered, not for its music, but for what it revealed. A country divided, a media class out of touch, a president unafraid to say what others won't, and a growing number of Americans asking whether the institutions they once loved still represent them at all.